What's up, Big Bear Nation? Welcome back to the homestead. Well, now that it's winter time, it's time for us to start planning what our garden is gonna look like next year. It's your favorite time of the year, isn't it?
I just love how you say it's time for us to start planning.
Well,
I don't even get to pick the vegetables anymore.
when we first started homesteading, we started in a row garden. And we were fortunate the area we were in, we had great soil and we didn't have to worry about anything being a problem. When we moved up here, we ran into this little pesky problem.
Granite.
Granite. We are in the granite capital of the world. So once we got up here and started looking around, we realized we were going to have to build raised beds.
Yes.
And by we, I mean you had to build me raised beds. And we started by using materials that we were able to get
For free.
We started out with pallets. And while those beds were beautiful and functional,
Yeah, they were.
but unfortunately, since they're made of wood, over time, they've broken down.
They're
And
gonna break down.
right.
I mean, because we didn't wrap the insides in plastic or anything, so with the watering and the moisture and the ground and the bugs and everything like that, it all has penetrated the wood and it just starts to eat away. So their lifespan is not as long as I would like.
Well, definitely, especially for the amount of effort that we put into them and all of that stuff. Like, it's kind of heartbreaking seeing them broken down like this.
We had to use the best pieces that we could find. And I think 4 years, if that's what we're going with these guys, is a good run for
The materials
that we used.
Mm-hmm.
I like mock from Self-Sufficient Meat. I've been watching Mark down there in Australia with his gardens for many years.
Mm-hmm.
Before he blew up because of his 5 tips or his 5 things. I love his garden setup with the raised beds that he has. And for the longest time, you couldn't get those type of metal raised beds here in the States.
Yeah, I remember you showing them to me and us trying to look them up, and it was only in Australia. You could not get them anywhere else.
I mean, because in all honesty, when I first was watching his videos, I thought the man just took culvert pipes, you know, and got them cut down, and that's what he was using.
He was using them.
And a lot of people started asking him, where'd you get these, da-da-da-da-da. And I think he showed breaking one down or putting one together, and he even flat out said, you know, unfortunately, in the States we can't get them, but he was trying to work towards being able to get them here in the States.
Right.
Well, now we have the availability of these types of beds here in the States, and we got one.
And it's not just one company, so that's the other thing, is that if you have one company dominate the market, then they can charge pretty much whatever they want. But what's happened now is there are several companies now that have put these beds out, and so they've become affordable, and they're not, you know, ridiculous as far as trying to purchase one and put it together. So we went with Vego garden beds, and
not to be mistaken with Vego from Ghostbusters.
And
these don't turn into evil spirits.
The bigger thing that we had to consider was the height of the beds, because we've been talking about aging in place for a while now. And all of these beds that we have, you have to kind of get down to the ground level to be able to weed them, plant, and
it takes us 20 minutes to get down and then 45 minutes to get back up.
So,
and a crane just
speak for yourself.
Ratchet
straps.
Pull me up.
So what we did is we kind of looked at all the different models that were available, and we decided to go with the 32 inch because we figured that way we won't have to get down, like squat down to our knees. We'll be able to just kind of bend over.
We can build a little garden stool or your little garden cart that you ride around the front yard with. You're able to work
with the gardens.
Yeah.
So now we've had the box for a little while, just haven't had the time to put it together. And unfortunately, our instructions kind of got a little wet.
Yeah, we've had some bad storms that come through here, and it pretty much everything but the house got water in it. So,
but this is a very cool thing right away from this company that I love, because I looked at them for quite a while before we kind of decided on this. And one of the cool things that they have is their instruction manual is on their website. So if for some reason you misplace it or it gets wet, you can't read it, all you have to do is go to their website. You can download it and print it out. No harm, no foul. Okay, so one of the things that I've learned about all of these raised metal beds is it just comes in a bunch of corrugated metal pieces. There's some curved pieces and some straight pieces. Now,
how would you want it to go?
The cool thing, well, the reason I say that is because they've made it so that you can do all kinds of different configurations. It doesn't have to be one specific layout.
Where you're going.
And that's one of the cool things. You can choose. They have like a 6-in-1, they have a 9-in-1, so you can have 6 different configurations. You can have 9 different configurations. We went ahead with the 6.
Pause. For all the husbands out there, please do not be sending hate email or bad comments, because all of a sudden now your wife can have 6 to 9 different raised beds to choose from. To be all honest, it wasn't about the time why we couldn't put these together. It's because Robin couldn't decide on which
configuration I wanted.
That she wanted. That was just a public service announcement.
So it's a 6-in-1 metal modular raised bed, and I'm still not sure I know which way we want to do this.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
I'm sure one of the first questions most people have is 32 inches is a very tall bed. So filling that is going to be expensive, right?
Nay.
Well, why not?
Well, were you not around when we did hugelculture?
Exactly.
That we also learned from Mark over at Self-Sufficient Me?
Yes. So, point being, we're going to do...
That's why he says his name with an accent, Mark.
So the point being, we're going to use hugelculture to fill these beds. So, of all of the different choices, of the 6 different configurations that we have, I looked at the dimensions that they gave you on the paper, which is nice. They do the math for you. And I think I want to go with the 5 foot by 3 foot, because that one has the largest amount of cubic feet for us to be able to plant.
Okay, so let's put it together.
All right, let's do this. So remove protective films from all panels. That's the first thing we got to do.
Move what?
Remove protective film from all the panels.
What protective film?
You see it?
No.
Yep, look.
Why are we removing that?
Because it says to. Because all that's going to do is it's going to come off.
This is ridiculous.
So step 1 is to remove all of the plastic film off of the metal beds. Not a fan, huh?
Not a fan at all.
Must be a guy thing, because us girls, we ripped right through those other ones. You're still fidgeting with that same one.
No, this is my second one, thank you.
Okay, so the next thing we gotta do is lay it out the way that we need it. So I need 4 corners, obviously. And then we need it to be a rectangle, so it'll be 1 short panel on the edges, on the ends, and then 2 panels on each side.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, okay.
No, it wasn't. We just ran out of daylight. I mean, we kind of started late in the afternoon, and that's on us. We had the hay guy come, and I love our hay guy because he's full of like all kinds of information, and he loves to share.
Right, and so yeah.
And then he brought a friend who's probably
equally as much.
Probably even full of more information. So that was really, I love. Like, sometimes I just want to buy hay just to visit with him. That's just me. But we're inside because we can't film out in the dark. So it was put together, in my opinion, it was easy. It was easy put together. I mean, it was a little time consuming, but, I mean, you had 50 gazillion.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's 6 holes in each panel. Mm-hmm. So you had to connect that however many times you decide on your configuration to do that. So, you know, yes, it's time consuming, but on the flip side of that, that means that it's very secure because they don't leave a whole lot of gaps for,
It's sturdy because like when we were out there doing it, we had LaDessa on the inside to do the nuts and stuff on the inside, especially on the lower ones. When I had to pick it up to get her out, it was stout.
Pretty stout.
It was pretty stout. Yeah. So I think in the long run, we're going to be extremely satisfied with this. I mean, I could be wrong. It could fall apart in this first season, but I don't really foresee that happening.
It's not flimsy metal. Like each panel is pretty sturdy. So when you put all that together, and then those rods that help stabilize it, so that it doesn't really go anywhere, I think it's going to be. Yeah,
and then you've got the rubber seal that we put around the top. That also kind of holds everything together, but it also stops your soil and everything from getting down in there to corrode those nuts and bolts. And I mean, it was a very well designed raised bed. They didn't use cheap materials, in my opinion. So I think the only thing that can make it go sideways is if you put it together wrong.
Don't even know how you could do that.
But time will tell.
Yes.
Right? So make sure that y'all come back if you're interested in this raised bed. Well, even if you're not, come back anyway. We love y'all. Come back this spring and summer to see the garden tours and see how it holds up. But I'm really excited about this one. If it holds up, then
I see a lot more in our future.
I see a whole lot more.
Yeah.
And just to get rid of the wooden ones, because I mean, every 2 years or every 4 years, if I have to come in and build all new beds, that's taking me away from doing other projects.
Well, and let's point out one other thing is that the beds that we built were down on the ground, and you and I aren't getting younger, so
I don't know. I'm putting.
So we kind of need the raised, truly raised beds, and so. That's what I'm really looking forward to is planting in that and seeing the ease of planting from that height. But I will say the instructions were fairly easy to follow. But I do recommend that you read the whole thing because one of the tricky parts that we ran into was the curved pieces are supposed to be on the outside. And of course we didn't read that, so when we went back to do all that,
how is it we
had to take those panels off. And fortunately, it's a 50-50 shot, so at least we did 50-50. You know, we only had to replace 2 of them instead of all of them. But very quickly fixed that, got it all put together, and I'm excited to start planting.
My only thing that I did not like was that plastic film on the front. One, I don't really see the need to take that off, or really to have it on there to begin with. This is a gardening raised bed. Yeah, I mean, you can get nicks and scratches, but you're going to get nicks and scratches on it anyway. Gardening tools, gonna nick it, pop it, you know, whatever. I'm not a big fan of plastic. We have a plastic problem. But let's just say they just absolutely had to keep that. My suggestion would be to put some type of a serrated thing through the plastic, kind of like how they have in the nuts and bolts, So then that way you can grab a tab and do it, because if you don't have fingernails.
Yeah, I was going to say, I had no problem. The girls had no problem, but you don't have fingernails, so.
If you don't have fingernails, you're not going to, it's going to be.
And you don't want to grab like a knife or something to start it, because then that defeats the purpose of scratching it, right? Even if they had like, just on the little bit of the inside of the first part of plastic, they put some tab on it. Yeah. That way you could pull it. That's about. And you know, for a raised bed, for that to be our only complaint, that's doing pretty good. Yeah. I'll live with it. The other thing that I noticed is they're very competitive with their pricings. They're constantly running sales. I think right now they have a sale where they've knocked down the 9-in-1. We did the 6-in-1, but the 9-in-1 is just under $300 now. Step up.
January 2023 if you're watching this video later on down.
Yeah. But check it out. We'll put a link in the description down below. That's why I said they're always running some kind of promotion here or there, so check it out.
So if you guys have any experience with the Vego raised beds, leave it in the description down below. I'd like to hear some feedback, and let's see if you guys have any issues with them, and you leave it in the comments. That'll be something I'll be looking out for, to see if it was just a fluke, or if it was something
everybody else had a problem.
if that's definitely a problem with these raised beds.
All right. Well, thank you for stopping by the Big Bear Homestead.
God bless.
And have a nice day.